Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you are entering the world of Ticket to Life. And I'm Henry, and so glad that you are here, even if it's only for a few minutes. And if you are new listening to Ticket to Life, I will welcome you with open arms and want you to know here on this podcast, I talk about anything and everything. And I know that sometimes I might share a story, and I will always change the names unless you just want your name out there. That's fine too. But if you would like to share a story about something that might affect or help someone, please feel free to send me an email at tickettolife022@gmail.com, and I will gladly share your story. As long as it's a good story, a story about life that would help someone. But anyway, because we all lead different lives, or do we? I say this because I also know that you may think that you are the only one going through something, and it could be something fantastic or something not so fantastic. And I can promise you that there is someone out there going through the same thing or has gone through something very, very similar to what you are going through or what you are living in. So you never are alone in life's journey. And I hope that you find a little comfort in this, and maybe not, but I hope so. And I know that I am a true believer of the power of prayer. And if you would like for me to pray for a certain prayer for you, like a prayer request, send me an email, or you can text it on the description. I don't get any names on the podcast, and I won't share your prayers because that would be between you and me and God. And you don't need to add your name again. Just tell me what you would like me to pray for. And I actually do pray for my listeners, although I may not know you or know the exact struggles or the things you're going through. I just want you to know that you are worthy of prayer and you are worthy of the love of God and His mercy. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that. And last week I talked about depression, and the podcast, I was trying to let you know that even if you had the greatest life ever, that you could still be suffering from depression. I explained what and how it is caused. And no, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a love guru. These are just my opinions and what I have found out. And that's my disclaimer. So I just wanted you to know that, yes, even the happiest people in the world can suffer from depression. And that it doesn't just affect those who are going through a sad time or traumatic time. Event in their life. 1 in 4 Americans suffer from depression. And with all that is going on in the world, I get it. Truthfully, I get it. So just wanted to, if you haven't heard last week's podcast, it was, I have to, if I must say so myself, it was a half decent one. So were you a good kid or were you a bad kid? Or do you have a kid that's a good kid, or do you have a bad kid? Well, I will let you know that some kids don't have a chance of not getting the bad kid label at birth. You have heard it, and people have asked, because I know I'm guilty of it. And I've said, oh, do you have a good baby or a crying baby, aka bad baby? No kids are bad. Now, honestly, all babies are good. And if you are a first-time parent, you probably have prayed for a non-crying baby, but you must remember that they are new to the world. And their only means of communication is crying. As a parent, you have to learn what those cries mean, and there is usually a different cry, believe it or not. So it's a different language you're going to have to learn. There's a cry for being hungry. There's a cry for being uncomfortable, perhaps a dirty diaper. Feeling stress from mommy and daddy will make a baby cry, and just not feeling well. So that label of being a bad baby stays with them. Not all parents, but some parents never let their kids forget how much they cried when they were babies. Oh, you were such a bad baby. You cried all the time. Well, thanks. I'd probably cry too if you were saying bad baby, bad baby. But um, just to let you know, that is their only the means of communication, and we have to listen to what we say. Because if we keep letting kids, adults, elementary school teens into adult know that they were bad babies, they might start thinking they are a bad person, which they are not. Well, no, you are not as much as you love your parents. You just need to tell your parents up front, okay, enough. I was a bad baby. You think I was a bad baby. I'm not a bad person. I'm an adult. I'm a teen mom. Dad, please stop telling people I was a bad baby. Then, if they don't like you saying that, say, well, don't forget who made me. Just kidding. Don't do that. We want everyone to have good relationships with their parents. But honestly, it's up to us to help develop our kids to be good and kind people. We have to remember they will act as what they see in their own house, in their life. If there's kindness, there's manners, there's being helpful, they will learn this. But if there's abuse and yelling, they will learn this too. Now, the toughest job in the world, I don't care what anyone says, is being a stay-at-home mom or dad. Basically, raising a good human being is the toughest job in the world. Your kids' behavior will reflect on you. But wait, what about the kids who get everything and are brought up in a very good household and start to become a bad kid? I actually don't like to use the label of bad kids. I read somewhere you should never use it. So this was such a long time ago. Because bad people are those who are incarcerated for crimes. And kids are not bad. And I wouldn't call my kids bad. I'd say, what are you doing? I would use another word. You're being, I don't know if I said naughty, what are you doing? I would tell them something. I probably can ask them and they will tell me. But kids are still learning so much in elementary and middle school and high school. And when we send them to college or trade school, it's a jungle out there. And if we don't teach them certain things, they're going to have a tough time. It's going to be a hard time to deal with this. Now, today, with so many different cultures and what we believed in, there's so much influence out there with kids. They have access to so much good and the bad and the ugly, and access about anything. Like if they have a question about sex, drugs, they can look it up. They don't need to go to mom and dad, but they will go to mom and dad if you have made that open communication. Because if you've heard Ticket to Life before, communication is the best thing to have in a house for a husband, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And most importantly, communication with your kids. It is so stinking important to be able to have your kids talk to you about anything. I mean, anything. Now, I don't know. Kids are going to break rules at any age. They're going to break rules. I'm still breaking rules. Hello. And yes, it is up to us and how we handle it when they do make a mistake, because that's what they're doing. They're making a mistake. But you know what? It's okay. Why? Because we learn from our mistakes, or we should learn from our mistakes as small children and as teens, young adulthood, and so on and so on. We have to learn from our mistakes. I mean, that's just it. And it is a natural thing for us to do an oops, I didn't mean to do that. It's okay. Children are learning right from wrong. And that's it. Just like you did as a child. And it's okay to get upset. And kids are learning that if they lose their temper or they're trying to get along with others, because, it is tough nowadays to get along with people for some strange reason, and they get frustrated. But again, all this starts at home. And if you really want your kid to be a good kid, No, it's okay for them to make a mistake and still not be labeled a bad kid. Now, here's a short story about my daughter. My daughter never got in trouble in elementary school. She just didn't. Never, never, never. Well, her good mom said, it's okay if you get in trouble, but I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want you to get in trouble on purpose, but it's okay. I want you to know it's okay if you get in trouble. I mean, she was just so terrified of always getting in trouble, and she never got in trouble. So one day she actually comes home, and I think she was in 3rd grade, maybe 2nd grade, and they used to have this red light, green light, or red, yellow, green. So if you stayed on green all day, that means you had a great day. Yellow, you got in a little trouble. Red, you got in a lot of trouble. One day she comes home, and she goes, Mommy, I pulled my card and got up to red. So most parents probably would have gotten ticked off. And what did I do? I celebrated that she got in trouble because it was okay. And what did she get in trouble for? Talking, because the teacher told her not to talk. Well, she kept talking, blah, blah, blah. And she did it. But she was so excited that she got in trouble. Well, of course, I talked to her and I said, well, you don't want to get red all the time, but it's okay. But it's okay for kids to get in trouble. Of course, not with the law, breaking 10 commandments, but it's okay. And I really want parents to know that. I think it's okay because you made mistakes. You're probably still making mistakes just like me. As a grandparent, I'm sure I'm still making mistakes, but it is okay. So the next story about my daughter, I'm not going to tell her about this podcast. She might get upset with me, but she through school, she just didn't get in trouble. She just didn't. So in high school, I remember, I don't know, she had to go to a different lunch. I probably should have let her tell the story, but then I'm not sure if I want her to hear this. But anyway, she had to go to a different lunch for some reason. And she sat at a table with some kids she knew. And then they started talking to her and telling her that she was a goody two-shoes. Now, that should be a compliment, right? But she was like, goody two-shoes? No, I'm not a goody two-shoes. And they're like, yeah, you're a goody two-shoes. And she came home and she told me, now this is high school. And she came home and, my kids usually talk to us even now about everything, but most things, I guess. But, and she did tell me that it bothered her. She didn't want to be a goody two-shoes. I said, it's okay to be a goody two-shoes as long as you don't go too crazy being the bad girl. No, but anyway, guess what? She finally did get in some serious trouble at school when cell phones came out. Texting, she got her phone taken up, and I don't know if they still do this, but they would take your phone up, and parents would have to go up there and pay $20 to get the phone out of the office. And so we had to do that a few times. And then she had a little run-in with a teacher. They didn't fight or anything, but she talked back. So just to let you know, yes, we got upset with her, but she learned. And that's just it. It was okay. She made some mistakes, and honestly, my son got in trouble too, but his was always detentions for being late. He has a tendency of being late to things, not work, but, and that was okay too. I was like, well, you got us, and they were Saturday detentions. So who wants to ruin your Saturday, especially if you're playing soccer or something? So anyway, there's my true confessions on my children. Both my kids turned out to be good human beings and good adults and doing great. And I'm not sharing my confessions of what I was like. No way am I sharing. I'm sure they have done some other things that I don't know, and I'm sure I don't need to know because I know I've done some naughty things in my life that they don't need to know about. But anyway, this is just a quick little good kid, bad kid. Because you know what? All kids in my mind, in my heart, I believe children of God. We're all children of God. We're all good people. But sometimes, like I said, you can give kids you can be so strict with them, but they will find a way to get access to anything now. And again, I just want everyone to remember communication in the house is so important for you and your family. But anyway, so that is my take on good kid, bad kid. And I really appreciate you being here. And thank you so much for listening. And if you may know of someone who might be suffering from the mental illness of depression, please help them seek some help. So as usual, all good things must come to an end. And this is Henrie. Thank you so much for listening. And I will be praying for you and I will be thinking of you. And I cannot wait to see you next week. And until then, please go find your blessings and know that you are loved and worthy of being loved by God, the Father Almighty. Thanks for listening.